for coming. I was hoping today would be kind of like an open forum. I've been getting questions from a lot of agents in our office regarding client gifts, around the holidays, but also like at closing and so on. And so my goal isn't like to talk at you guys and tell you what to do or anything. I just thought it'd be fun to have a conversation about this and collaborate a little bit. So I think most of us probably do give gifts to our clients at closing, and they can obviously vary dramatically. But I guess to start the conversation off, like there's the most common question that I get is like, can you write off a gift? So that's kind of a nuanced question because there's a few ways to look at it. One way that you can look at it is if you're able to do a closing gift out of your commission, it's a write-off in the sense that you just never realize the income, right? So like one common one that people do is, they pay for a home warranty out of closing, and it's a $400 home warranty and your commission's $10,000 and your commission is just $9,600, and then obviously that's a full write-off because it never really came in, so it doesn't even need to be written off. Is that something for everyone on the phone call? Are you guys, how many of you guys are doing home warranties as like a closing gift?
I've done them. Okay. Hi, sorry. I would raise my hand, but I don't know how to do it in this app yet. Sorry.
No worries. No worries. You're fine.
But I have done that. Sorry, I just met you. I've talked to you on the phone before. I just started working for the company a couple days ago.
That's awesome. Yeah, welcome.
It's very nice of you to invite me to this. Anyway, the question I have is, I've done it before, and I have been told previously that we have a dollar limit that we are limited to for gifts to clients. And I don't know if that's a tax write-off thing or if it's a rules thing.
Yeah, it's related to taxes. So now I'm actually forgetting what that dollar is. I think it's $20 is technically all you can technically write off. The loopholes I've seen for that, and obviously disclosure, I'm not tax professional, so please speak to a tax professional before you take any of my advice. I mean, the loopholes to that is to call it marketing. So there's ways you can do that. Like you can write off any amount of money if it's marketing. And so a lot of people will say like you can get Cutco knives with your name and Realty One Group on it, and call it a gift, but write it off as marketing because it's a piece of marketing, right? So people get a cutting board with their information on it and it's marketing. So that's one way people have gotten around it. But that's kind of getting in the weeds a little bit.
It's not a rule. In other words, it's a tax deal.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a better question. It's a better question for your CPA. I'm not going to get into it too much, but I'll tell you what I do. I say to hell with the $20 rule. I get people whatever I want to get them. And then sometimes I'll put like a sticker on the box. That's like a sticker with my name and in the company. And I'll take a picture of the gift and say, yep, it was marketing for me. Or I'll do a gift basket with a bunch of stuff and then have one piece of marketing in that. And again, I take a picture of it that I include with my receipts. So if I'm ever audited, I can say, yep, this is a marketing basket.
That is a great loophole. Yay.
Yeah, that's what I do. Again, talk to your CPA about it. But the podcast I'm trying to find this episode because it really resonated with me. I listened to it in 2021, so a while ago, and it really changed how I give gifts. It's actually why I stopped doing home warranties for the most part. I still do home warranties in some cases. If I have a client who ever waives the inspection, which I really don't like when my clients ever waive the inspection, but I always get them a home warranty then. I want to be like, I don't know, it's just, I feel better when I do that, like just a little safer if something goes wrong, they have a home warranty. But the theory in this podcast, and this is kind of, I hope this kind of starts the conversation and we can kind of see what you guys think about this. But this guy had a company. He was being interviewed on this podcast. He has a company that he helps, affluent business owners with gift giving to their clients. And his theory is to get people a gift that is not consumable, not something that, not a one-time use, such as a gift card or, you know, a restaurant, you know, whatever, not like just a dinner, not a one-time thing. Get them something that they're going to see and use and feel and access often. And it really resonated with me. And my gift giving, like the comments I've gotten on the gifts I give have been so much more positive since I did this. So I used to do gift cards a lot. In hindsight, I think that's, in my opinion, I think that's not the best gift. First off, it's not really thoughtful. Secondly, gift cards are kind of annoying because you're like, oh, I got to use this and it's in your wallet for forever. I've had this freaking $100 gift card in my wallet for like a year and I just never use it. I just forget to use it. I know that sounds
Isaac, you can use that anywhere.
I know. I just forget about
man.
it. The only reason it's in the front of my wallet right now is because I was just going through my wallet and I was like, what is this? And then I remembered what it was. I know it's stupid. That's stupid. I know. But I think a lot of people have that problem with the gift card. They like forget to use it, you know, and sometimes they lose it and stuff. So what I've started to do is gifts that like they're going to see and use every day. So like one of my favorites, it's an expensive one, but if you have someone who buys an expensive home, is a Roomba. And on the Roomba, I put a sticker with my name on it. And at least every other month, I get a video or a text from one of my clients. And they're like, thanks for vacuuming my house. And it's like a video of the Roomba vacuuming their house. I mean, that is like, not to pat myself on the back, it was an idea I had, but that's like such a great idea because it gives people like, like they're going to use that every day or at least multiple times a week. And they're going to see you vacuuming their home every time they do it. So that's one idea. Another one I've done, this is kind of consumable in the sense that it expires eventually, but I've gotten people like a year membership at the zoo or Northwest Trek, because then every time they go to the zoo or every time they go to Northwest Trek, Isaac paid for it, right? That's kind of close to a gift card. So like I've done that with people with kids and stuff, like when I want to give them, anyways. But yeah, what kind of gifts have you guys done that have been, I don't know, have received, you know, positive feedback on?
Okay, my most recent one was before I joined the company. I sold a property in rural Lewis County and it was pretty run down, the mailbox. So I bought the guy a new mailbox. And now that I think about it, I could have painted something on that thing.
I think that's a great one though.
Yeah. What else have I done? I'm doing some posters to somebody I sold a condo to a couple of months ago. I haven't given them to her yet because she's been busy. Probably wouldn't put branding on that, although you could do subtle something. I don't know how.
Well, and that's the weird thing about the branding thing. Sometimes I'll put the sticker on and I'll take it off because I don't like, I think when you, okay, for example, I get called all the time by Cutco salesmen who say like, yeah, I'll like embed your logo into a knife, and Cutco knives are awesome. But if you can picture, like we're called by lenders all the time who want our business, right? And if a lender sent me a Cutco knife that said John Doe Fairway Mortgage, I'm not going to have that on my counter. That's tacky, right? It's like, okay, this is a nice knife, but it's like, this is my opinion. Again, this is all, I'm not saying I'm right for the record, but in my opinion, like marketing, like when people feel like you're just giving them something to brand yourself, it really takes away from the gift, right? It makes the gift feel like very self-serving, and you want the gift to feel selfless and truly a gift. Like for a gift to be a gift, it should be something that I'm just giving to you with no expectation of return. And when you give them something that is marketing for yourself, it has ulterior motives. So how can you market yourself without it feeling like you're marketing yourself?
Subtle marketing is like a really good way to like brand yourself.
just because like what Isaac is saying, you don't want to make it feel like you're giving your clients in order to like self, like what he was saying, self-serve yourself. So like doing something like what Isaac is saying with like the Roomba, where even if you have like a little sticker on it that even just is his logo on it, like maybe where the Roomba logo used to be, it's like people will appreciate that more just because it doesn't scream, like it's not in your face. Like some of the best marketing is done when somebody can like point to it and go, I know exactly what that is, but it doesn't necessarily like have the name on it. So like that can be really beneficial. And I guess like what I'm thinking of is like the last Harry Potter billboard didn't have any, like it had no Harry Potter logo on it, nothing. It just had it all ends here and the date. And that was enough for people to understand what it was talking about. So the more subtle you can make your marketing while still having your name and like you at the forefront of people's minds, I think the better off you guys will be.
Yeah, it's kind of a little bit of a game, right? You're marketing in general, I feel like, is this way. I'm always trying to think, how can I stay in front of my clients, stay in touch with them? Because, you know, we all know the statistics about what percentage of buyers use the same real estate broker when they go to sell their home. I don't know. We've all heard the stat, and I bet none of us can repeat it, but it's a really low number. It's much less than 50%. So how do you stay in touch with your buyers after they buy their home? So when they do go to sell their home, you know, in 2 to 7 years, statistically, they use you, but without them feeling like you're just calling them or staying in touch with them from a transactional point of view, right? You don't want them to see your phone number whenever you call them and think, oh, Isaac's going to call me and ask for something, or Isaac's just, you know, just calling for superficial reasons. And I feel like that's the same with a gift. You want the gift to really feel like a gift, but if you can sneak in some ulterior motives, if that makes sense, that's a win for everybody. I am going to try and find this podcast episode so I can share it with everyone, because it was really good. This guy talks for an hour about the gifts that he helps clients send out around the holidays or after a closing or so on, and how they kind of fit in this idea of being something that will always be remembered. He said the consumable, I'm using the word consumable because I can't think of a better word for it. A consumable gift idea that he is okay with is something like a memorable vacation or something. Now that's for how much money we make on a commission, that's too expensive for us. But I kind of translated that to, again, like the Northwest Trek membership. It's like $140 for a family membership for a year, meaning they can go to Northwest Trek anytime for a whole year on you. And that's something where, you know, they're going to take pictures when they're at Northwest Trek and post it on Instagram. And I've had my clients do that and tag me, thanks Isaac for the membership. So that's, you know, that's a experience that they're going to remember over and over and over again. Whereas if you get them an Amazon gift card, they might buy toilet paper with it, and they're not going to remember you when they're wiping their butt.
How do you know that, Isaac?
What'd you say?
How do you know that?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. And then if they are going to remember me when they're using the toilet paper, I'm not sure that's the best, right? That's not really my goal with my gift. I don't, you know, oh man, that was funny. I didn't even mean to step in that.
I also think like the more unique that you can make your marketing, like your efforts to reach out to people, the better off you'll be. Like you don't have to go and reinvent the wheel. But when we're talking about something like sending out postcards, that's a great idea. But remember that every other agent is also sending out postcards. You want to do something that's a little unique and more more individual to you. That's why something that I really like is like the pop buys that we offer, is like doing something with a small little gift attached to it, like, hey, just popping by to say hello, like, and attaching a little bag of popcorn to it. That can bring you a lot farther than sending out the Mariner schedule, because I use Isaac as my real estate agent, and when I bought my home, and I get postcards from real estate agents all the time, and they're always the same thing. It's the game schedule or something like that, and I always end up throwing them away. What I get from Isaac, I don't get a postcard, but I get a Christmas card from his family, and that's something I'm more likely to hold on to, just because it's like that's more individual to him, right? So I would think that like anything that you can do that's more unique and bringing out that like that individual personality when you're doing either a client gift or your marketing is really beneficial to your business. Make yourself look like a person, not just a real estate agent.
Can I ask you to elaborate a little more on what you were saying earlier about making, okay, now I'm forgetting what you said exactly, but when you were talking about branding and making the gift relatable to our brand, like I'm not imaginative enough to come up with an example for that, except like, here's the thing that popped into my mind, right? I'm also a mystery writer. I could tell my clients I'm writing them into my next book as a character. I mean, that's like, okay, way too obscure. But what's a not obscure example of how you could brand yourself and use a gift that would be related to that brand memorable thing?
Yeah, so I think like I said, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Like if you want to send out postcards, that's perfectly fine. Just know that other agents are doing that too. So make it individual to you. So like, for example, like Isaac and I really like puns. So if I'm going to do a pop by and I wanted to like get some clients, I would use that. Maybe it won't stick with every single person, but at least I'm doing something that's like individual to me and making me stand out. Again, something that makes you stand out as a person, not necessarily as an agent, because
And
at the end of the day,
how do you send those out?
what, a postcard
No,
or
what you're calling a pop by? What is that? Is that an email?
like a pop-up? Go to the neighborhood and drop them at doorsteps, or you could even mail them a lot of the time. It just depends on how you're going to do it. But a pop by specifically would be like neighborhood marketing, like you'd go to the neighborhood. But like what we're talking about for like client gifts and stuff, like what Isaac is saying with like the Roomba, that's like something pretty individual that I'm sure like not a lot of agents are doing. So something that he finds would be useful to his clients and treating them as like showing himself as a person, right? A person first, real estate agent second. That I think that is the most likely to get you those leads that will stick with you and those clients that come back.
Yeah. Thank you. That's good clarification. Do you mind if I just hijack your meeting, Isaac? Do you have any ideas about me because I'm in a scooter and I can't just walk the neighborhood? It's been a big issue for me for many years. And I used to take a little wagon and walk the neighborhood and give out little plants or something, back in the days when I lived up in North Seattle. But how would I distribute neighborhood things if I'm mobility challenged? I wonder, do you have any ideas about that? Like just maybe do a little table at a street fair or something?
Yeah, I think open house
Yeah.
is a great way to do it. So if there's a neighborhood that you're trying to market to, one suggestion I have is get a list of all the addresses in the neighborhood ahead of time. Spend a little bit of money sending out a postcard, or even better, a letter that is in an envelope, because people are statistically more likely to open that and look at it, as opposed to a postcard where people are more likely to just throw it away. And say, if you can plan ahead of time enough, say, hey, we're having an open house on Saturday from noon to 2, but an open house for neighbors only from 11 to noon. And then, if you come to the neighbor only open house, we'll have a door gift, or we'll have a market analysis report for this neighborhood specific for you, or something like that. So get people to come to you. But in order to get people to come to you, you need to offer something of value, right? People aren't going to just come because you have to give them something, some cherry that's going to get them to actually come to you. So that's one way I've done it in the past.
That's brilliant.
Some other gift ideas that I've kind of just developed over the years. Again, the idea behind the Roomba was like something that's in their house that they're going to use a lot, and most people would not buy it themselves, right? Like most people, if you ask most people, they probably want a Roomba, but you think about spending $400 on a vacuum, that's kind of frivolous. And they're like, you know, a vacuum that doesn't go up or downstairs, it just stays on one floor. It's not something that you would normally buy yourself. So I try and think of things where like cool things that most people would say they want, but it's like, well, I'm not going to buy it because I don't need it. And so I don't know if this is helpful, but just kind of a small list of things that I've done. There's a really affordable, like $60 to $100 small projectors now. And this has been a huge hit, throw in a gift basket. Because again, a projector is something like most people aren't going to go buy a projector. You don't need a projector. You already have the TVs you want. But I bought like 10 of these after my wife got me one that we put on our like back deck, and we like can watch a baseball game at night as we're, you know, sitting on our back deck outside. It's really cool, right? It was like, because I bought 10, I got them for like $60 a piece. And I throw those in gift baskets, and people are like, this is so cool. And I like have a note about like, yeah, it's great. You can like do it outside and like project it on your, you know, on your house, or you can, you know, we take it camping, you know, and I like tell people these things. So projectors are a really affordable gift that, again, I think most people would think is cool as hell and remember you every time they use it. But I don't think most people have those, right? Another one that has been really successful is this thing called a meter. This kind of depends on the person. Some people probably wouldn't care about this, but if you've got a guy, a lot of guys love barbecuing, and meters are this thermometer that you put in the meat, and it like connects to your phone. It tells you when to take it off and when to. It's a very, very elaborate meat thermometer. Totally unnecessary. You can buy a meat thermometer for $10. But I've gotten, like, I've told, you know, I like write a little note about what it is when I put it in the gift basket, and people freaking love it because it's one of those gifts that, again, is like frivolous almost. It's like, no, most people aren't going to spend $120 on a meat thermometer, but when you have it, it's freaking awesome. And the reason I got those gift ideas again was because those are two gifts that someone gave me. And I had like thought about him, you know, like, oh, that'd be cool to have that. And when someone gave them to me, it was so touching because it was like, oh, wow, this is something I'm totally going to use, but I never would have bought for myself. So, you know, thinking of things like that, like, you know, what are obscure gifts that are not so obscure that people are like, oh, that's wild, but like something that, you know, people would want, they just wouldn't necessarily buy for themselves. And it's a fun exercise to think about. And again, not to be repeating myself, but I guess I will. I think the one of my key takeaways of that podcast was the not consumable. That really resonated with me, because consumable goes, right? You give someone a bottle of wine, and that bottle of wine is gone, and they'll never think of you again related to your gift, right? And that wine is like a perfect example. I used to, you know, if it was client who liked bourbon, I'd give them a nice bottle of bourbon. A client who liked wine, a nice bottle of wine. I always did that because I just thought that's what people do for gifts. Alcohol is a really common gift idea. But it's a terrible, sorry, no, I mean rude. If you do that, I'm not saying it's a terrible idea. It's not a gift that's going to last. It's a gift that will be used once and then forgotten, like the toilet paper.
If you're just thinking out loud, if you're helping like millennials buy a home or like a family, my parents got a personalized charcuterie board. It's huge. It's like this big old charcuterie board, and it's beautiful, and it says the Howards on it. And they absolutely love that thing. They're hanging it up, like they're finding new places for it. They always have it out. So even like something personalized like that, and that's something that you could even put your logo on the back of, and they would never have to see it, right? But they would know who it's from, and it's something that they could show as well, like what he's saying about like something that they'll use again and again and again. If you have those clients like me who really love cheese, like love charcuterie boards, like a personalized charcuterie board would be an amazing gift that someone could get me.
Who would
Not
like
his.
that? That's a great idea.
Sean, have you had any gifts that you've done for clients that you think really were home runs?
That's an ironic choice of words because the ones that I've done a couple, well, I just always try to customize it to the client, listen to them throughout the transaction, or if I have a previous relationship with them. And the two favorite ones were both former Mariners employees who I got custom jerseys for that had their last name and the year on it so that they could hang it on the wall in their new house. And they were obsessed with it. So it just was something that was simple, but, you know, customized to them. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. That's another really good point. I am really lucky with this. So, but my wife is probably the most thoughtful person I know. And she helps me with my gifts at every closing. So I send her a text as the closing's coming up and I say, all right, here's my clients. You know, it's a couple with I'm trying to think of one that I just had. It's a couple with 2 kids. They're 7 and 5, and they've talked to me about World War I. They're studying World War I, and they're obsessed with airplanes. And she loves gardening, and I don't know anything about him. I don't really know what he would like. I didn't have any ideas. And I just texted that to my wife, and she put together the most like thoughtful gift basket. They both had these like World War I little toy airplanes, and then like this little gardening like this seed kit for like local seeds from Washington, you know, things like that, because they weren't from Washington. And the reason I say that is obviously I cheated because I had somebody else do it for me. But when I started like using my wife to do that, oh my gosh, the feedback. I mean, I've had people literally cry when I give them gifts because they're so thoughtful. So I guess my point in saying that is going off of what you said, Sean. If you can find a gift that is both useful but also clearly thoughtful, right? It's not just, you know, a bottle of wine, a cutting board, and you know, a whatever, you know, like a candle, right? The classic gift basket. If you give that to somebody, it's like, great, I like candles, I like wine, you know, it's fine. But it's not like, it's just a gift. It's a gift like any other gift, right? But when you get them something that, you know, it's something they mentioned, right? And it clearly had thought into it. I'm just going off of my experience, just looking at their faces when they take apart the gift basket. They look at me like, wow, this is incredible. And you know, all those things was $100, right? So you don't have to buy a Roomba for $400. You can do something like that. But the thoughtfulness makes the price irrelevant, right? So another person who's so good at this is Robin in our office. Robin talks to me all the time about, you know, she's like, oh, I just left Target. I just got this, and this for my client as a closing gift because they like this, and they do, and like she's talked to me about how like people are just like blown away by the thoughtfulness. So I know that takes a lot more work. And if you're not lucky like me with a partner who can help you with the gift, then it's a lot harder. But I will say, just in my experience, it's been very fruitful when I've taken the thoughtful factor to the next level.
I will say I have been the receiver of one of Isaac's gift baskets, and they are beautiful. My parents actually broke into it before I did, and it was a very memorable experience.
There's an inside joke there.
Hey everyone.
Yeah,
Can you hear me? Sorry.
No. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, sorry I'm late to the party. There's a website that I use, have used a lot for personalized closing gifts. It's called personalcreations.com. And what I've used for on there is personalized pictures. Like you can do a house and it can personalize with like their I did one, it was like a cabin and it puts their house number like in the clouds. I've done monogram ones. One family I gave with one of their framed photos with their family monogram, and they hung it up over their mantle, and they still have it there like 10 years later. It's one of their favorite things. And then on the back, I've written a note. on there and a thank you and stuff. And if you haven't checked out this website, check it out. It's there's a lot of things in there that you could do personalized gifts for them, and it's fairly inexpensive. I think I spent $50-$75 on closings on there.
Shayla's mic isn't working right now, but she just let me know. She wanted to mention that getting gifts for your clients' pets is also a really good idea too. Like, I know I love my cats. If somebody got me something for my cats, I'd be thrilled, like over the moon. So like, people love their fur babies. So that's a really good idea. And I thought it was important to mention for sure.
Yep, Robin taught me that one too, and that's definitely when I add something for their pet in the gift basket, it really resonates. They really appreciate it. It's yeah, that's a really good tidbit. Thanks for that, Rachel.
Thanks for suggesting that, Shayla. That's a brilliant idea. I was gonna, the whole time that you've been talking, I've been thinking most of my clients are people who like collect snakes and dragons and, you know, that kind of stuff. And what would you give them, you know? But that is a really good idea. Habitat stuff, you know, they'll see it all the time. I think it's a great idea, Shayla.
I'm still trying to find that podcast episode. I'm gonna find it so bad. It's so funny. This is what I had to go off of. I know the name of the podcast. It's called The One Thing. And I tried like looking up the One Thing episode about gift giving, couldn't find anything. And then I remembered when I was listening to it, I was at a listing that I had. So I went and I looked at the previous listing and it was 2021. And I was like, all right, so it must have come out around this time in 2021. Still can't find it. Anyways, I will find it. It was a great episode. But yeah, I mean, I think that's about all I have, guys. I just thought it would be a good thing to just kind of compare notes and keep this conversation going. Again, do talk to your CPA if you're going to write off gifts, but not giving tax advice. But in my opinion, it is absolutely marketing, 100%. And I write off every dollar of every gift that I give. And if I get audited and the IRS is saying, what's this Northwest Truck membership, and why'd you write it off? And I can, you know, show a picture of me giving it to them at closing, you know, because I'm already taking a picture, and I say, how the hell is that not marketing? And then they say, well, we're not going to let you write it off. Then I'm willing to pay the tiny penalty on that audit. You know what I mean? So in my opinion, again, talk to your CPA. I write off every penny that I spend on gift giving. It's 100% marketing. And I'll let you know if I ever get audited and if that's ever called out. But then, yeah, just to kind of recap, I mean, try to think of things that are thoughtful and maybe things that you wouldn't buy yourself, right? You as your client would not purchase themselves, that they're going to see often. And then lastly, in my opinion, don't have it be obnoxious marketing. I think the Cutco knives, and again, I'm really sorry if someone's listening to this and they already do this. I'm not saying I'm right, but in my opinion, again, just put yourself in the shoes of, if your lender sent you a knife that had engraved on it, John Doe Fairway Mortgage, are you gonna like have that on your counter? I think it's tacky. I wouldn't have it. Or like a big cutting board that had a big Fairway Mortgage on it. I'm not going to use that cutting board. Personally, I mean, if you had a little thing on the side that said your name, sure. But so you want, if you're going to use it for marketing, have the marketing be very secondary. You know what I mean? Don't have it be overly branded to yourself. In my opinion, it's obnoxious.
Sorry, I just thought of another good idea for a client gift, and something I'm getting for somebody that's getting married, is an electric, if your clients really like wine, instead of getting them a bottle of wine, get them an electric wine opener. And like what Isaac was saying with the sticker on the back, electric wine openers are a game changer, and they're actually fairly cheap. You can get a really nice one for fairly cheap, and you can stick a little, like your little logo sticker on the back, and then your marketing isn't overly in their face, but every time they use that wine opener, that would be helpful. Sorry, that was just another thought that popped into my head.
That actually made me think, it's totally unrelated, so I don't know why I thought of this from that. But one other thing that I would consider doing, I've told a few people this, as you guys know, we can't pay someone for a referral, or for a closing. If they're not another real estate broker, you can't give someone a referral fee, right? But I do. What I mean by that is, regardless of if someone refers a client to me, and regardless if they buy a home, I immediately send them something, like immediately. And sometimes I don't have the time to really think about this. This is less about the gift and more about just like letting them, like, instant gratification. Thank you for sending me that. Sometimes I have done Amazon gift cards for this, but don't forget about giving gifts to people, not just around closings, because they, a surprise gift is sometimes the best kind of gift, right? So like I was saying, I just had someone a week ago call me and they say, hey, your friend David told me I should use you as my realtor. And that same day, I dropped by David's house with, he's a big beer guy. And so again, I'm breaking my rule now about consumable, but this was more about like the touch point, right? And I went to his house, didn't even call him. And I had just a big basket of like these big tall boy, different types of like local beers, and rang his doorbell. I was like, oh, hey. And I said, dude, thanks so much for the referral. And I just gave him this basket. He's like, what? Oh, I forgot I even told him to call you. And anyways, no joke. And I've done this before. This is one recent example. 2 weeks later, I got another referral from him. No joke. And I truly believe that is not a coincidence. Like, I freaking blew his mind when I showed up at his door and gave him $50 worth of beer. And he was thinking about me, right? And then somebody else, this was a coworker at work who just mentioned something about buying a home. And I got another lead in 2 weeks from that. And so anyways, I just think the power of gift giving is huge. And a lot of people might listen to this, especially people who aren't in sales, and be like, wow, realtors are so superficial and they're always just, everything's transactional and they're just giving to get. Yeah. Yes, I had ulterior motives when I got him the beer, but if he never referred me again, I wouldn't have been like, hey man, I gave you that beer. Like, are you going to refer me? Give with the right motive. Like, I'm just giving as a gift, but good things can come from it. Right. So just, I don't know, just something to think about. When you surprise somebody with a gift, it can really blow their mind. And then when you are front of mind, that people meet people all the time who mention buying or selling a home. You just want them to think of you when that moment comes. So anyways, I think that's everything, guys. Thank you everyone for participating. I hope this was helpful. I'll do more meetings like this where we just kind of have roundtables and we talk about what's working for us in different areas of our business, because I think we can all learn a lot from each other. And so, yeah, thank you, everybody. This was fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, Isaac.
bye.
Talk to you guys later. Bye.